All right, folks, check this out. Donald Trump's week just went from bad to even worse because Theo Vaughn, a huge podcaster, has millions of followers on his different platforms, is someone who supported Donald Trump in the 2024 election. He just went scorched earth on the Trump administration in a recent episode of his podcast. This is incredibly damaging for Trump because the podcast bros were a crucial group of people who helped Trump win the election, and without them, he doesn't really have the same grasp on America's media as he would like. So I want to get into this entire story and more. Before I do so, make sure to subscribe to the channel down below, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about the story, and without further ado, let's dive in. Before we watch this clip of Theo Vaughn, and before I provide you a little bit of context, him going in on Donald Trump really just highlighted for me how Trump is just kind of turning everybody against him. I mean, especially with all the different shows, the late night shows that he's targeted, whether it be Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Kimmel, he's really united these guys against him. They were always anti-Trump, but now certainly more than ever. Like, for example, recently, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and Seth Meyers shared a new photo of all of them together at an event they held mutually, and the title was Hi Donald of the photo, and you can see them here together. And in a recent episode of this Stephen Colbert show, Jimmy Kimmel actually went on and they both slammed Donald Trump in a clip that you just have to see. Jimmy Kimmel called Donald Trump a son of a bee, so you can just see that for yourself.
I mean, that son of a bitch, you know, is really unbelievable.
Mr. Son of a bitch.
I mean,
Mr. Son of a bitch.
His royal. Yes, yeah, no, I never imagined that we'd ever have a president like this, and I hope we don't ever have another president like this again. I mean, I never even imagined there would ever be a situation in which the president of our country was celebrating hundreds of Americans losing their jobs. But somebody who took pleasure in that. That, to me, is the absolute opposite of what a leader of this country is supposed to be.
Yeah. 100%. He's referencing Donald Trump celebrating his show when it was taken off the air indefinitely by ABC and Disney, and Donald Trump did celebrate the show getting taken off the air. And it's just remarkable to see how badly the Trump administration is playing the media right now. He's turned the late night hosts against him even more. He's turned their audiences against him even more. And so that brings me to this whole Theo Vaughn story, which is another sector of media that Trump is just really struggling with right now. The people who supported him are not even supporting him anymore. So let's dive into this story surrounding Theo Vaughn. It really started here, where the Trump administration used him without his consent. The Department of Homeland Security, as you can see down here, which I'm not going to play for you, it's a really gross video. They posted a video basically celebrating all the deportations they've taken against, American citizens, people who have never committed crimes, for example, and they included Theo Vaughn in the video. And they did it without his knowledge. He responded to them directly on Twitter. This was a viral tweet saying, "Yo, DHS, I didn't approve to be used in this. I know you know my address, so send a check. And please take this down, and please keep me out of your banger deportation videos. When it comes to immigration, my thoughts and my heart are a lot more nuanced than this video allows. Bye." Which is, that in and of itself is a pretty scathing rebuke of the Trump administration and their immigration policies. And, it's just so crazy to see that, 8 months, 7 months into this administration, people like Theo Vaughn, somebody who was, very firmly in the Trump camp, is now saying, no longer, we're not a fan of him anymore. And this is not the first time. Recently, when Donald Trump said that nobody in the Amish community has autism, Theo Vaughn said, cite your sources, fellas, because yeah, cite your sources. Donald Trump is just making stuff up on the spot. But now I want to get into this video of Theo Vaughn really going scorched earth, where he just goes all in on Donald Trump and his insanity with his immigration policies, specifically focusing on on Trump and the administration using him in that video without his consent. So take a look at what Theo Vaughn had to say.
My father immigrated here from Nicaragua, right? Like, one of my prized possessions is I have his immigration papers when he came here. And I have them in a frame, and him and his siblings when they came here. And so I have tons of thoughts about it, but this was just fucked up, right? It was fucked up. And it was everywhere. It was like on all platforms and stuff. So So that had me really kind of paranoid.
Mm.
That had me start to get kind of paranoid and, like closing, like, I had the curtains in my house kind of closed. I was just like, you're paranoid. I woke up the next morning. Sorry, I need some water. I woke up the next morning to a text from a high government official saying, hey, if you need some extra security in your neighborhood or some extra police cars on patrol, let me know. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Extra security? I don't have any, I don't even know the code to my Ring camera. I don't even know how to log in. So it's like, what, you're just going to put police cars in my neighborhood? What are my neighbors going to think? Now they're fearful. It just I don't know, man. That really kind of shook me. It really kind of shook me. But you keep marching on, and you start getting security. And then now you have security, right? And the thing is, you just don't know. You just don't know. Right? There was a moment on it was White House, because the White House also put this out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty sad story that Theo Von just talked about. He talked about, my father immigrated here from Nicaragua. I have, his immigration papers. I'm proud of his history. I'm proud of my father. That's what he's saying. I have them in a frame. This was just effed up for him to be included in that video without his consent. And it got so crazy because he's talking about, needing security. It's because he responded to the Trump administration and said, hey, take this down. They were nervous. He was nervous that some MAGA guy might come after him because he rebuked the Trump administration and did so publicly. That's the America we live in, folks. I mean, really, where podcasters like Theo Von, these huge names, these huge figures, have to be worried if they decide to push back on Donald Trump in public. I just thought this clip of him talking about his experience and everything that happened after this video was published and after he responded to the video is just kind of like a sad reflection on America. I have another clip to show you where he talks about Trump's deportation policies. But before we get into that, I would like to proudly say, let's hear from our sponsor for the day, who's keeping the channel up and running. Take a look. Okay, everyone, it's that time of year again, Medicare annual enrollment. I know the junk mail and the spam calls are super annoying, but this is one Medicare update you can't ignore. Here's the deal. Medicare plans change every year and many disappear entirely. So even if you like your plan, you need to look at 2026 options. Every year, millions of people get stuck on the wrong plan, which means they're overpaying or undercovered, and nobody wants that. And unfortunately, most Medicare agents are only going to recommend plans that have high commissions. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisors that look at every plan nationwide. Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage, Part D, all of them, to make sure you're on the plan that works best for you. Their support is free and they can review your options in under 20 minutes. If you're on the plan that suits you best, they'll tell you. If not, they'll help you switch. By doing this, they've saved people an average of $1,100 a year. So don't wait. Call Chapter today at 720-242-0681. Get this off your plate and make sure you're set for 2026. So we're back from hearing from our sponsor, and this is the final clip I want to play you for the video. It's Theo Von talking about Trump's deportation policies, and I just think you should hear it because this was also in the same podcast episode as well. Take a look.
And I have a lot of thoughts about immigration, right? I have a ton of them, and we don't need to go into them all right now. I've talked about them on other episodes. I feel like they're doing a lot of bookkeeping in the country right now because we're going to get into a surveillance state, and everyone is going to have to be on the books, right? So that's where I believe that we're headed.
Wow. Saying we're headed to a surveillance state, which is not that outlandish of a thing to say regarding immigration. I mean, Donald Trump and the MAGA people and his administration every day are moving toward a policy where, at every opportunity you have to show your papers. You have to show that you're an American citizen or you're a legal resident or whatever it might be. That's what they want, right? That's what they want. They want you. So, the whole debate with the government shutdown right now is basically MAGA saying, hey, if you're an undocumented immigrant and you get hit by a car and you're on the road dying, you should have to show your papers before you go to the hospital. I mean, it's just insane. what's going on in this country. And, with the podcasters turning on Donald Trump, that's a big deal. That's a big deal and very bad news for Trump. So anyway, I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Just had to show you these clips of Theo Von. Make sure to drop a like as well. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. And as I always say, I greatly appreciate you, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.